What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of Sharp Shorts. Let's get right to it. So, there is yet another development that has come out amid the Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson breakup, and it's something that touches the third rail in modern American women, and that, of course, is body count. Well, it looks like Klay Thompson has exposed Megan Thee Stallion's body count, and he says it's at least 170, which is absolutely disgusting. That's just nasty. This woman let 170 different men inside of her body. And those are just the ones we know about. Guys, we all know that women routinely lie about their body count. So, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised at all if her real number is actually somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 or even higher. So let's take a look at this Instagram post that reads, Megan Thee Stallion, went live and broke down crying after her ex-boyfriend Klay Thompson exposed her for having over 170 bodies. Let's take a look here. You gonna talk? Like, what's up? What's the holdup here? What is this? What's going on?
Oh Lord, I didn't think I was gonna cry. But yeah, I had to get surgery. It was super scary. It was like just the worst experience of my life. And it's not funny. There's nothing to joke about. It was nothing for y'all to start going and making up fake stories about.
Oh, making up fake stories now, huh?
I didn't put my hands on nobody. I didn't deserve to get shot. I didn't do shit. Like,
Now, guys, look. I know that most of you who watch this channel are well aware of why body count matters, okay? I know I don't have to explain it to you guys, but I know that there are a few women who are going to watch this, and even a few men who are going to watch this who still believe, or still say they believe, that body count doesn't matter. And I'm also fairly certain that there are men watching who might still be on the fence about the body count conversation. So I'm going to thoroughly and definitively break down and explain the body count conundrum. I'm going to explain why it matters with both men and women and why it matters to both men and women. Then I'm going to tell you exactly how it ties directly into Megan's breakup with Klay and what this means for the both of them moving forward. So the first element of the body count discussion is that a lot of people think that body count is the same for both men and women. In other words, people say they think that a man's high body count works against him in the same way that a woman's high body count works against her. But gentlemen, this is categorically, scientifically, sociologically, biologically, unequivocally false. I can't think of any more adverb to describe that. Sex is very, very easy to come by for women, even if they are mildly attractive. Now, a lot of men don't particularly like this, right? Like, they think it's unfair. They say, oh, this is not right. We can't believe this, blah, 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 blah. But what most of those men need to understand is that this is biologically necessary. The reason sexual opportunities have to come easy for women is so that the human species can continue existing. Mother Nature or God or whoever the creator is specifically designed men with an insatiable sex drive so that they can continuously pursue women to give themselves as many opportunities to engage in the biological process of procreation as they can. Okay? And if sex were as hard for women to get as it is for men to get, then let's keep it real. Most of us wouldn't exist. So women having constant opportunities for sex it's absolutely necessary for the propagation and subsequent survival of the human species. Now, on the other side of that coin, Mother Nature or God or whoever also designed women to be far more selective with who they mate with than men are. And the reason for that is to ensure that the best genes are passed down from generation to generation. And guys, this is why women like tall, muscular, square-jawed men. Not only are these men more sexually attractive, and that is by design, women also know that the offspring of genetically superior men is going to have a better opportunity to mate because they too have those same attractive genes. This is why I don't get upset with, I don't fault women, I don't shame women for wanting tall, attractive, muscular, square-jawed men. It's in their biology. Just like it's in our biology to be sexually attracted to women with large breasts, hourglass figures, long hair, and so forth. All of those physical features trigger our sex drive because those are all signs of fertility. But we also know that most men are not created equally. And what that means is that some men, albeit a very small percentage of men, they're going to have far more opportunities for sex than most men. Now, again, I'm not here to cry about it. I'm not here to whine about it. It is what it is. This is how we're made. Like it or not. You can listen, you can like it, you can dislike it, doesn't matter. This is human nature and evolutionary biology at its core and in action. So, given what we now understand about female sexuality and how it works, let me explain why a woman with a high body count is not the same as a man with a high body count. The reason we shame 304s and praise players is because of the disparity between both the opportunities and difficulty level of the acquisition of sex between the sexes. Okay? Being a 304 is easy. All a woman has to do is decide to. And the simple truth is that most women can get laid just about any time they want. So if a girl has a body count of 20, right? Let's just say she has a body count into the 20s by the time she's in her early 20s. That tells men that she lacks sexual temperance and that she did not use the selectiveness that she was born with to her advantage. Also, keep in mind that no woman with a high body count has been smashed by 20 something, genetically superior male specimens. Most of those bodies aren't going to be the best of the best. A lot of those guys are just randos, right? And this is how women run up their body counts very, very quickly. They're not out here smashing all these tall, good-looking, square-jawed men. Sometimes these are just randos they meet on dating apps or on Instagram, and maybe they're having a self-esteem problem. Maybe they broke up with maybe their boyfriend broke up with them. Maybe they want to show the world they still got it. But this is how they run up exorbitant body counts in a very short period of time. Just understand that most guys a woman sleeps with are not going to be the best of the best. Now, obviously, the more attractive a woman is, the more selective she is. So, if an attractive woman like Megan Thee Stallion has a body count of, let's say, I don't know, 170, that tells us that she lacks discipline, she lacks character, and she probably also lacks self-esteem because she allowed 170 different men inside of her body. She could have turned down most, if not all of those men down, but she didn't. She said yes to 170 men without having to do anything but look good and exist. It didn't have anything to do with her money, her status, her celebrity, or her accomplishments. Men smash Megan because she is physically attractive. That's it. Now, a man with a high body count, however, is inherently valuable because unlike women, he can't just wake up and decide to go out and get laid like a woman can. He's got to be in good shape. He's got to know how to converse with women. He has to know how to sexually escalate. He has to know how to build attraction. He has to be charming. He has to have his life in order. He's got to know how to handle himself in stressful situations. He has to be a lot more than just attractive and available. Men have to bring multiple elements to the table in order to even be considered for sex by most men, by most women. Again, I'm not here to cry about it. This is just how it is. So in other words, getting laid as a man is hard. And that, gentlemen, is why everyone, men and women alike, respect men who are good with women. Because everybody knows that getting laid for men is extremely difficult, even if they are tall, muscular, and square-jawed. And if anyone disagrees with the idea that sex is easier for women to get than it is for men to get, look at the dating market value of women who have rotations versus the dating market value of men who have rotations. We all know, again, there are countless women who sleep around on the regular who are average to even below average looking, and a lot of them are ugly, overweight, and sometimes even obese. But I'm here to tell you, there are no below average looking men who have constant rotations of women in their lives. There are no ugly or below average men who are overweight or obese out here slinging ding-a-ling. Hell, there aren't even average looking men who get laid on the regular unless they're in a relationship or married. And even then, a lot of those guys still aren't getting sex from their wives or girlfriends because their wives or girlfriends are cheating with the tall, good-looking, muscular guys. That's just the state of relationships in 2026. The men who get laid all the time have to be far above average to elite in every aspect. So the disparity in the dating market value of women who sleep around versus the dating market value of men who sleep around, that clearly illustrates that sex is a lot easier for women to get than it is for men to get. Something else I want to point out about women who think that men sleep around more and that men cheat more is that they're not using the entire data set, the entire data set of men. And here's what I mean by that. 90% of men are sexually unattractive to 90% of women. In other words, most men would sleep with most women, while most women would not sleep with most men. And the way this affects the mindset of modern women is that 90% of the men that women do not find sexually attractive are completely invisible to them. They can't see them. I'm talking about average guys, blue-collar guys, the guys with the 9-to-5 office job who drive Toyota Corollas, or the guy who works at Jiffy Lube who changes her oil, or the guy who makes her overpriced latte every day, the guy that delivers her mail, the guy that delivers her UPS packages. Those guys are completely invisible to women. Outside of their utility that makes their lives comfortable and convenient, these men simply do not exist in their world. And the cold hard truth is that modern women look right through these men day in and day out. The only men that exist in the world of the average rank and file modern American woman are the 10% of men they find attractive. So when modern women contemplate a question or a scenario that compares, men and women's dating tendencies, they don't realize that they're only thinking about the top 10% of men. Okay, we all know that women cheat far more than men do. But most women think it's the other way around because they're not paying attention to what the bottom 90% of men are doing, which is definitely not cheating because they can't even get laid in the first place. And if they can't get laid, they're not cheating on anybody. But modern women aren't looking at those guys when they think about these questions. They're only looking at what the top 10% of men are doing. And guys, this is why a disproportionate amount of women in this part of the world foolishly believe that something like 50% of men are over 6 feet tall, or that 45% of men make six figures or more. When the actual numbers are that I think it's like 14% of the world's male population is over 6 feet, and the percentage of American and Western men who make over 6 figures is barely into the double figures. And so when you have this mindset as a woman, and then someone like me says sex is easier for women to get than it is for men, they disagree because, again, they're only thinking about the dating habits of the top 10% of men, the only men they see, the men that are not invisible to them. Yes, men like Justin Waller and Andrew Tate can get laid pretty much anytime they want to, but those guys are the gross exception and not the rule. And the reason why women don't understand this is because they don't realize that Instagram and social media has made them think that there are just millions of Justins and Andrews and tall, good-looking, rich guys just running around. So much so that they think that there are enough of these guys for every one of them, and that simply isn't true. So I just want you to keep in mind, guys, if you're ever in a conversation with women about the dating habits of men versus women, just keep in mind that any woman who actually believes that men cheat more and that sex is easier for men to get than women is simply a woman who is only thinking of the men that her brain acknowledges exist. And again, I'm going to reiterate this point again and again and again. Getting laid is easy for women, but women not only want to avoid judgment for sleeping around, sometimes they actually want to be praised for it. But again, that is not the way the world works. The world doesn't praise people who do what's easy. Right? Like nobody's impressed with someone who brushes their teeth 56 days in a row. No one is ever in awe of anyone who feeds their cat every single day. And the reason for that is because those things are easy, right? Like, look, we don't build statues for people who do what's easy. No, we build statues for people who do what's hard. And while no one is going to build a statue for, Ron Jeremy, John Holmes, Peter North, or Rocco Siffredi, the difference in difficulty level in terms of the acquisition of sex is exactly why sluts are admonished while studs are admired. The second element of the body count conversation is the asymmetrical effect it has on both men and women. Body count affects men and women asymmetrically. In other words, body count has the opposite effect on men and women in both directions. And if you're a little confused by this, let me give you a couple of quick examples. The male equivalent of a 304 is a man who is a virgin, okay? The female equivalent of a player is a woman who is a virgin, right? You guys with me? Another way I can explain this is that 304s are unattractive to men for relationships, while virginal and inexperienced men are equally as unattractive to women for sex and relationships. So in summary, women with high body counts are the same as men with low body counts, and men with high body counts are the same as women with low body counts. Now, of course, we know that women are going to be in the comments and they're going to disingenuously disagree with this. But what do we say here in the sphere? We say if you let a woman talk long enough, she will eventually tell on herself. Well, the women have spoken, and as usual, they have told on themselves. I'm going to ask you a very simple yet important question to demonstrate this. What's the first thing a woman calls another man when she's pissed off at her or wants to make her look bad? She calls her a slut. She calls her a whore, right? But when she's pissed off at a man and wants to make him look bad, what's the first thing she calls him? She calls him an incel. She calls him a virgin, says he doesn't get laid, small dingling energy, and all of that. And as a quick side note, I find it interesting that I have to edit out the female pejoratives because that'll get this video demonetized, but all the male pejoratives are perfectly okay. Anyway, so the sexual pejoratives that women use when insulting both sexes lets us know immediately that women, just like men, inherently understands that body count absolutely matters. They insult women by calling them 304s, and then they insult men by calling them incels and virgins. This is exactly why we tell you not to listen to what women say they would do or wouldn't do. You watch what they do or don't do. Women say a woman with a high body count doesn't matter, and then they like to pretend to be disgusted by men who sleep around. Then in the same breath, they'll turn around and insult them with quite literally the opposite of what they say they believe. Speaking of what women say versus what women do, let's talk about the third element of the body count conversation, and we are going to watch a short clip of the How to Relationship Podcast episode 7 that I did with the lovely and talented Devin. Take a look. A woman with a high body count is sexually attractive for short term. This is why virginal women with low body counts are scooped up off the market quicker than women with presumed high body counts. So a man who has slept with 50 women is far more attractive than a woman who has slept with 50 men. Agree or disagree? You don't agree? So you're telling, so let me ask you a question. Would you be more, well, I don't know. This is kind of, I'll go around the panel here. Just real quick. One word answer. Michelle, would you be more attracted to a virginal man? Would you be more attracted to a 40-year-old virgin or a 40-year-old man with a 40 body count?
I know why you're asking this question, though. You're making a point, but it's
answer the question. See? See?
No, but I don't mind. Whatever. Fuck. Oh, can we curse on this show? I don't know if you're allowed.
Yes, of course. Yeah, please.
All right, so fuck it. Yeah, of course it would be somebody that knows what they're doing in bed. I don't want to have to teach them what to do. Of
course. Okay, I'll come right back to you, Danielle. Would you rather have sex? Which is more sexually attractive, a 40-year-old virgin or a 40-year-old man with a 40 body count?
Okay, the guy that knows what he's doing. Got it.
There you go. Okay. So now let me ask jury, who do you find more attractive, the 40-year-old virgin or the 40-year-old man with a 40 body count? And then you can elaborate.
I have to say not the virgin one.
There you go. All podcasts long, all of those women were telling me, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But when I asked them that question directly, they simply could not lie and say they'd rather be with a virgin. And guess what? This is exactly the same way men feel about women inversely. Yes, we will smash an attractive woman with a high body count, but we're going to take her about as seriously as Klay took Megan. The fourth element of the body count conversation is actually quite simple. Women hide and reduce their body counts for the same reason that men exaggerate theirs, right? Because both know that too many or too few in the wrong direction drastically reduces the odds of finding a person of the opposite sex to take you seriously. A woman knows that if she tells everyone that she's got 87 bodies, she knows that she's either going to be single for life or married to a loser. But on the other side of that coin, a man knows that if he tells everyone that he's a virgin or inexperienced, he knows that he'll be treated like a loser and will definitely be single. And the final example is the son question. If you ask anyone, man or woman, if they had a son, and he had a choice between two women, all things being equal, if they're being completely honest and not trying to spin some crazy narrative or trying to be right, they would want their son to get with the girl with the lower body count. So to tie this all back to Megan Thee Stallion, this is exactly why Klay Thompson never took her seriously in the first place, among other reasons. If Klay knew that Megan had 170 bodies before she got with him, there is absolutely no way he was ever going to take her seriously. There was no way this was ever going to last. And you know the funny thing is that black women are coping super hard by telling everyone online Klay fumbled Megan and he can't do better than her and that he's going to be single and all this other nonsense. But what's pathetic about this cope is that even these women know that Klay's going to be all right. No matter what they say, American black women, they know the score. They can say whatever they want. They can post whatever they want. None of that matters. Deep down, they are keenly aware that in the long run, Klay is going to be much better off than Megan is. Listen, Klay is probably going to get married to and have a family with a snow bunny just like his father did. So he's going to be all right. Megan, on the other hand, not so much. Her situation is going to be a little different. Her situation is going to go one of maybe three ways. She'll either end up single and childless, she'll end up married to a loser that she'll cheat on, or she will end up with a rapper or athlete who cheats on her, just like Klay did. Ladies, I hate to break it to you, but Megan has sold her soul to the devil. She has traded her true feminine happiness for money, fame, status, and a really good BBL. And because of this, there is no scenario where she ends up with the high-value husband, living in the big house with the white picket fence and the 2.2 kids and the dog. Well, Megan doesn't want that. Not anymore, she doesn't. Megan knows damn well that is no longer in the cards for her. So like the typical American modern woman, she will recite, probably on her next video, the Black Woman Anthem, which is I'm independent and I don't need no man. She should probably name a song after that. Send your boy a check, Meg. Anyway, all jokes aside, given what her dating history is, all the rappers and all the athletes who have skeeted in her, the 170 plus body count, the absolute craziness that went on with Tory Lanez, and really is still going on, who in the hell is going to take her seriously? Yes, a lot of men will, but we know that none of the men who would take Meghan seriously are not going to be the men that Meghan actually wants. And this is the position that a lot of these female celebrities find themselves in. They have too much money, too much status, and too much celebrity to date and or marry a man without any of that. But the men with all of that don't want women like them. They don't want women like Meghan. And we've taught you guys this for years. We've taught you that the more money a man makes, the more doors open, and the more money a woman makes, the more doors close. Now, Megan Thee Stallion has plenty of doors open for her. She's got access to money, she's got the lifestyle, the fame, she's got all that. She can get into just about any room she wants to, but the one room she will never get into is the room where the men of value will take her seriously for anything outside of a situationship. Okay, so Klay spent a little money on her. Big deal. The man's worth $300 million. Him spending $300,000 on her or $300K or whatever she bragged about is literally pocket change to him. And get this. I'm sure Meghan will find other men to spend that kind of cheddar on her. She's attractive and she's got an unbelievable body. So that is going to get her plenty of ding-a-ling, gifts, ding-a-ling, trips, ding-a-ling, and all that stuff. But the one thing she will never have is a ring from a man she actually wants to be with and have a family with. And guys, I want to be honest here, and this might not be a popular opinion, but part of my human side feels bad for Meghan, okay? And the reason for that is that it is crystal clear that this relationship has destroyed her. It's broken her. She's crying on stage. She's canceled her Moulin Rouge tour. I think she's already out at the club, trying to drink away the pain. I mean, she's really hurt. She's really hurt. I believe Meghan truly loved Klay and probably still does. Okay, so the human side of me genuinely feels for her, especially knowing what her future holds. But the man in me knows that she made her bed and now she's got to lay in it. I'm sorry, Meghan, you cannot expect as a woman to build your brand on twerking and WAP and pimping out men and city girls and hot girl summer and having been skeeted in by almost 200 men and expect those same men to take you seriously. That's what she's marketing herself as. And the funny thing is that she fooled all these stupid black women into thinking she's actually a good woman because she managed to cosplay for a wife for a few months. But Dr. Dre said it best back in the early 90s when he said that you cannot turn a hoe into a housewife, not even the hoes themselves. Meghan tried to turn herself into a hoe, but unfortunately, her reputation preceded her and it ended up costing her a man that I believe she truly and genuinely loved. But instead of American black women actually learning from this cautionary tale, what have they decided to do? They've decided to double down and act out of solidarity with the woman who is literally leading them all to the slaughter. So go ahead, ladies. Cheat on your men. Make things difficult for them. Break up with your boyfriends. Act stupid. Go to the club and get smashed out by some random in the bathroom. Have all the fun. Post all your W's. Brag about how you've destroyed this man or that. But if you keep this up, y'all gonna end up just like Meghan, getting passed around from guy to guy and never being able to consolidate on the man you want because you want to be a city girl. Thanks for watching.